All right, so I know it looks so random, like I have all this stuff around here, but I'm telling you, these are some activities that you can do with your child that are between the ages of 1 to 2 to keep them occupied while you're homeschooling your other children. Now, before I get started with all these things, I want to just explain something to you guys about expectations for those ages. I know a lot of homeschool moms, you're looking through YouTube, looking through Instagram, you're doing your research, and you might see a mom with a 2 year old being able to sit down and do an activity. And then you're trying to do the same activity, or maybe you're trying to read to all your kids, and your 2 year old is getting up, moving around, or your 1 year old, or they're touching things on the table, and you're having the hardest time. It's all about your expectations. So let's look at it like this. For a 1 year old, especially that first year of life, they are going through so many different changes from being laying down, maybe, even their eyesight changes. They see things in black and white, then they begin to see things in color. That's a transition. And then they're up on their, maybe they're up on their knees and their hands, and they can kind of scoot and crawl around, and now they can reach different things and taste it. And then once they're able to stand, now everything is from that point of view. And just think of it like this. Say they've been sitting there in their high chair and they've seen something in the distance now, and it's making noise, or it's got lights, or something about it is intriguing to them. And so now they're able to move, and they want to walk to it and investigate it and see why it's doing what it's doing. So at this age, your child is exploring everything. They're being the scientists. That is the way that they like to learn at those ages. So you cannot really expect them to sit there for long periods of time, because that's just not how they learn at those ages. And so it will come in different spurts, like meaning maybe they will sit there for a couple of minutes and then they get up and they walk over here, because again, it's something that captivated them. So your duty as the mom, if you're trying to keep them occupied for a while, because I know some parents, you might think, okay, I need about 20 minutes. Well, I'm just going to be real with you. That's probably going to be difficult unless you're going to give them different things and you're going to keep on changing it up, because like I said, they like to explore. This is all items that you have to buy, okay? So we have the mega blocks, which you've probably seen these before. They can just click them in there. This works well for a child that is 2 years old, or a child that you have worked with them, that they're 1 year old, but you work with them multiple times on how to actually click with this. Furthermore, you can then use this for teaching purposes, like their colors or counting, things like that, and they can learn through play. Now, I like the wooden blocks better, because they don't have to know exactly how to click them together, and they're learning more cause and effect, I feel like, because if they stack them incorrectly, or in a way that it's not going to balance, they're all going to fall down. And honestly, again, kids this age are all scientific, and they just want to discover and investigate and figure things out. Now, maybe those wooden blocks are a little too hard. You can get these silicone blocks that, honestly, I think they're cheaper, and they can still stack them up, and then they can knock them over. I feel like I'm pretty sure at those younger years, because I've seen my 1 year old do it, they like to knock things over. So they might not be quite at the age where they're stacking it back up, but they love knocking it over. And I remember now the other cause and effect is pushing a car. And I bought these from Amazon. The cool thing is they look like a real car. They're big enough that the 1 year old can hold in their hands, and the little doors open. And I think this one is a pullback car, and they might not be able to do that, and that's fine, but they can just push it around the house. And I think it came in a set of 5 or 6. Your 1 to 2 year old probably is seeing the older children writing and drawing and doing things like that, and they want to participate too. But we all know that it ends up being in their mouth or on the wall or something like that, unless they're sitting on your lap and you are paying close attention to where they're riding at. This is cool because it's a magnetic thing. I'm sure you've seen it before. They can write on here and then you just have to erase it, And it had the little shapes in here. It's square, triangle, and a circle. And so that could be stamped or they could just drag it across and it made a cool effect. So this is cool because they can use this in the car if you're going on a road trip, or if you're trying to make dinner and you want them occupied but not on screens or devices and things like that. Now, the last thing in this category is the most simplest thing ever, and it's a ball. But honestly, I feel like out of everything I'm going to show you today, this is my number one. Kids love throwing balls. They love seeing how it rolls, and they're going to try to do it over and over. Again, I can't stress it enough. They are scientific. So, and to me, honestly, this is the funniest thing to watch a kid try to throw a ball, because somehow it goes behind them, over their head, beside them. It never goes like straight. But them running to get the ball and then throwing it again and then running to get it again and then rolling it. This will actually keep them occupied for a longer period of time, in my opinion. Now, this type of puzzle, because they're shaped differently, will be more challenging. You want to start with puzzles that, again, they have the one knob, but it's like a square, circle, and triangle. And I used to have one that was about 5 years ago, and because of moving and things like that, I don't have it anymore. But you have to use those first. Now, this is more of a Montessori technique, and I'm going to explain it a little bit. You would take these off, and then your child, at those ages, they don't like to see things incomplete. So then they will try to then fit the puzzle in there. DIY type of activities, items that you can find at home. So the first one I would like to talk about is something as simple as an old pickle jar, okay? Or any other jar or a cup that you may have at home, and just allowing your child to fill it up. Now, I got even more DIY. I used the old tops from our Naked drinks, and your child can just simply put them in there, and you can have different sizes. Or if you have kids like me who they sometimes leave the tops off of markers, and the markers you throw them out, keep the tops to the markers, because this also can be used to drop in there. Now, maybe you need your kid to do some activity that is quiet, with the pickle jar, so they can drop in the little pom-poms, and this is quiet, but it's not as fun, but you could do that. So that's it for the pickle jar. Another DIY activity is a tissue box, or maybe you have an old wipes container, and you can fill it with different fabric. Now, I like to sew, so I didn't go out and just buy this just for this activity. I already had these different fabric scraps laying around, and all you do is fill it up. Or if you want to, you can fill it up with something else. You can put the pom-poms in it or the tops in it, and let it be kind of like a discovery box. And your child will just love putting their hands in there and picking out things to see what it is, right? Another thing is I brought these scarves. Now, my scarves, they're soft and they're nice, but they're a little too big to fit in here. But I just wanted to show as an example, you could put maybe scarves that are smaller in a box like this, the tissue box or the wipes box. I brought pillows because a 1 to 2 year old, they love pillows. They love rolling on it and throwing it and sliding on it and sitting on it and stacking it up, trying to make a tent along with a blanket. Especially, this can be a great activity for you to have just available. They randomly will play with it. Now, the last thing in this category is another thing that is simple that you have is a box. Kids this age love boxes. You can fill it up like with the scarves, Or you can put other random things in it. Or you can have it just an empty box and let your child fill it up. And they'll probably push it around the room. They'll sit in it. They'll tip it upside down and use it as a drum. There are so many things. I'm telling you, it's the things that are the simplest that your 1 to 2 year old will stay occupied for a longer period of time. So that is my activity. Category is books, which us homeschool moms, we love books, right? But I'm going to talk about the types of books that I love for the ages of 1 to 2. They all have real life pictures, okay? That I cannot stress enough. So I love these types of books. Don't mind this one, the cover's messed up, but it's really cool. You want to give them real life pictures because this is what they're seeing on the day-to-day basis. And I have noticed, especially when it comes to babies in pictures, I don't know, that child, like my 1-year-old now, when I finally found this book, she lit up and she was laughing and she was smiling and she keeps on turning the pages and looking at the different pictures in here, and she enjoys these types of books. Let me know in the comments which activity you will try this week, and I will see you in the next video.